All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Chew Stream, where we talk about our 90, 90 art challenge, 90-minute art challenge. You could tell today I am just like stumbling in to the stream, and so I apologize and thank you so much for being so patient with me. Yeah, that's the word. Okay, I'm also just trying to get everybody's speakers going as well. So here we go. Desktop audio, apply. I think we should be good now. So here we go. 90-minute art challenge with me, your host, Bobby Chu, and my co-host, the one and only Masei Seki. Hey, Masei!
Hello, hello.
And
Oh,
of
you should see
course,
Iris dancing right now.
our guest of honor, drumroll, Iris Muddy. Oh my goodness. Hey, Iris.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Great, great.
Good.
Thank you so much for your patience with me today. It was very hectic to get this thing started, but that usually means I'm going to have a good stream.
I'm just glad you guys are all well and good and we can have some nice chats.
Yeah, for those that can see my tiny little window, I am back in the studio. Yay! I miss this place so much. And a little housekeeping, okay? We have, what is this program? It is magmastudio.io. So we will be all drawing and painting on this same document at the exact same time so we could see how each other paint. And if you're wondering, oh, how do I paint on there? You just go to magmastudio.io. It's a free software, and you can also get the pro version for more features and stuff like that. But I believe we were just using the default brushes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of scared me, actually.
Did
I was
it?
nervous. Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes we get so used to all those little tricks and functions and buttons and filters. It's nice to bring it back, don't you think?
To the big sense. Yeah.
And even though you say that you were, whatever, nervous, which I barely believe, in the end, all the paintings turned out great, right? And they all ended up in the same place, so that's great.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I remember looking at Iris's painting and just like picking up so much from her. And I remember you were talking about how when you normally paint, you use the smudge tool often, and to make up for that tool that's not in Magma, you were using the soft brush tool, which was really cool to see. So yeah.
I was using like a huge soft brush where you have the pressure. I was kind of using it the same way I like to use it in Clip Studio Paint, where I use it really large. I was going to say loud. Sure, loud is large. So I was using it really large and then having pressure on so that if I press really softly, it's like small and slightly fuzzy. But then if you do a large brush stroke where you're pressing harder, it goes really fuzzy and feels like a smudged edge. And I love losing edges and then having really sharp like lasso edges. That contrast is really fun for me. So yeah, and I also got inspired by how you guys were treating it and the shapes you had and the colors, and it was just so fun. I just remember it very fondly.
I just remember the wonderful conversations that we had. This time went by so fast. That's the other thing, right? When you're on Magma, you got to really watch the time because you're on there together and everything, and time can kind of fly by.
Can I just mention something hilarious about the time? Like, well, two things. First is that you were like saying that you were going to warn us, and then we got so involved in conversation that it was like, oh, there's 15 minutes left all of a sudden. And it was like, oh no, but it's been good. So it was like, it wasn't a bad thing. But another thing was that people had asked me, like, how did it go? How did painting in there go and doing the study? And I was like, actually, I thought that we were going to like join the study session and then patiently, quietly, like studiously, like as if in a library, develop our studies. But it turned into a conversation, and I have a lot of trouble like focusing on, because I'm an empath and I love like speaking to people and everything. So I'm like, oh, I want to like make the most of this wonderful opportunity to have a beautiful conversation, and then I'm like, but I gotta make a study too. But you know, so it resulted in like a lot of kind of dead moments of me not moving the brush at all. Does that happen to you guys?
doesn't really happen to me as much. I'm pretty
think
used
Yeah,
to it.
Bobby's really good at that. Yeah, there's
Does that
times
happen to you,
when
Miss A?
I think there are times when I'm like caught up in the conversation. Like I like to talk with my hands, so then my hand completely
Yeah.
gets off the
Mm.
consistency. Great, yeah. Like Iris knows this. We've been hanging out on Discord here and
Yeah.
there. So it's like, and especially when you're like deep in a conversation, you kind of just get so sucked into it. But I think this time it was like a nice casual conversation where we were just like having fun, which in the end kind of like turned out to be like a fun painting. So,
Yeah.
but normally it's hard for me to like focus and paint and draw at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you guys have a lot
yeah.
of practice.
Yeah.
I've always had like, yeah, I guess like when it comes to, I would say I don't feel like I was really born with much talent, but that's something that I feel came very naturally. Like, I don't know. To me, actually, it just is like, well, how come nobody else can, like, not as many people can do that? Uh, but obviously, that's a kind of jerk thing to say. But that's what I just naturally kind of feel, you know?
I
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna add, I think it might be because you've been like teaching for years and years, and you kind of like speak out loud what you're thinking. So now that you already like have everything in your mind and understand it, it kind of just like happens like naturally as you're talking about like something completely different. So maybe it was like a years of experience with that and
Huh.
just like multitasking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
think
not
that's
sure. Maybe. Yeah.
Plus, Bobby, you probably have experience being at a convention and like working on something at the table or something, and then lots of
Oh,
people trying to
no.
talk. No?
I hate that. I hate that. Yeah. I've taken such few commissions at comic conventions, like
Okay.
over the 10 plus years, because every time I regret it because I'm
Okay.
like, I'm ripping this person off.
Oh,
That's
do you
how
have
I
any?
feel. Like
Do you have any
anything
like
that, yep.
anecdotes of that?
Just like, okay, I take a commission, I take their money, and I start to draw and paint it, and by the time they come back, I'm just looking at it going, this is the worst thing I ever did in my life. That's, but then
Oh
it's
man.
like, I can't just talk and draw at conventions. It's like, you gotta look at people's portfolios, you gotta do all sorts of things.
Yeah. I I always feel like when you go to a convention, you really have to like take the person's presence with a grain of salt and give them the benefit of the doubt because they're under so much pressure. Like sometimes I hear people say like, "Oh, I met this artist at an event and they weren't who I thought they were going to be and they didn't really give me the time of day." And I'm like, I mean, they
Oh,
were probably
totally.
under a lot of stress, so you should consider that. Like, but people try to do their best, right?
Oh yeah, I was snubbed so hard by this really well-known artist, and we have mutual friends and stuff, and I was snubbed so hard. I won't mention the person's name because of the same reason that you're saying, but I think I could tell the story, right? People want to hear when Bobby got snubbed, I'm sure. So I'm at this party, and it's like, it's a good party to be at. You look over there, it's the guy that, created Adventure Time. You look over there, it's like this other person that's just amazing, and she directed this and that. And then I see one of my favorite artists, one of the people that I would say were the main people that I like art,
Yeah.
right? That's how high this person is. And I went up to the person, I was was just like, hi, I just wanted to, and then the person turns to me and goes, hold on, just one moment, just one moment.
Okay.
And then starts to talk to somebody else and just keeps talking for like 10, 15 minutes. It felt like an hour. And then finally I just left.
But had they been like mid conversation and then you tried to get in, or were they like not doing anything and then started that?
It was so long ago.
Okay, yeah.
I felt like I got in at a good time,
Okay.
but then perhaps, there's so many other factors. But the thing
The-
was, the thing for me was the person didn't need to snub me that hard to say,
No.
hold on,
Yeah.
and not kind of go back to me. Could just say,
It,
we're having a conversation here,
yeah.
or something like that.
It reminds me of a Donald Trump story where like someone tried to get a picture with him and then he just walked into an elevator and then went away.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, thanks. I guess that's a no. Sorry.
Yeah, but it is totally true, and that's why I don't say the guy's name because, like, I don't know what he went through that day. And I don't know
Yeah.
if I did interrupt something. Maybe I did, and he was just deep in thought, and it was a very serious conversation or whatever. But
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, you don't need to leave somebody hanging, which
No,
is,
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to be considerate.
But then maybe he was planning on coming back after
Yeah.
half an hour and was like, "Where did that guy go?"
Let's hope so. Or he's like got ADHD. I don't know.
Have you ever had any awkward encounters with, fans, junior artists coming up to you, talking with you?
I I guess it's a thing where like nothing's awkward unless we make it awkward is the way I feel about that. And I feel like I've often made it awkward where someone will come up to me and they're seeking advice on something that I can help them with. I could probably help them with, but I suddenly feel like, oh no, my solutions won't work for you and they're not useful, so my information that I'm gonna try to help you with isn't useful, so then thus why are you asking me? Thus, like, I get to like, I'm just a person and you're a person too, so I can't help you. Like, I don't have the authority, so don't give it to me. All this kind of extra unnecessary stuff where like if they just ask me the question and I just connect to their excitement and their curiosity and try to help, then that'd be the right thing to do without all the extra work.
I kind of love
Yeah.
that, though. I kind of love that. It's just like, this a real person, right? And that's
it
really
just
nice
we're all
too.
equals, right? Yeah, or I think I consider us all equals. But I have when you said that question, I remembered something that really beautiful that happened, and it's that my favorite thing about like growing up on the internet with artists and seeing each other develop is something that maybe didn't happen back in the day, where like you could literally see each other's posts and thoughts and more intimate relationship with your art and how it's growing. I had a conceptart.org thread back in like right after the golden days of that forum, in the sketchbook thread, which was a super inspirational place. People pushing each other to do studies of every single thing ever every day, and it was awesome for growth. And someone actually at I think it was a Schoolism event. It was Claire speaking and Minghu. Which one was that? Was it in
Oh,
Copenhagen?
Toronto?
Oh,
I think it
Or
was in Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's
it was
a
the ladies one.
yes, it
Yeah,
was
I was there
killer.
and I loved it. I loved that event so much. And someone came up to me and they said, Iris, like, you don't know me, but I followed your conceptart.org sketchbook thread and I followed all the posts and I read and you were so enthusiastic about learning and like making friends. And they said it pumped them up so much to learn more. And I was just like, I had almost forgotten about that I had like journaled my journey there. And it was a beautiful thing. Like, do you guys have any anecdote of like someone reminding you of some part of your art journey that you forgot and it's like, oh wow, yeah.
I would love to hear Masay's answer. Yeah.
I feel like you have like tons of those, but I'll probably have to think about it for a second if you want to go ahead.
Like I've talked about this in a previous stream where I was like, I have this green wristband where I made 1,000 of them. And over the
Oh.
last 10 plus years, I've been slowly giving them away, right? And on the wristband, it says, punch laziness in the face.
It's such a Bobby thing.
Yeah. And, it's like I would wear it to remind me to like not be lazy and to go at everything, including not just work, but relationships, whatever, with some effort, right? And so I've been giving these away for the last 10 plus years, and now with the deal that they have to keep going until they succeed, and then they would come back eventually if we meet one day again. They would tell
Yeah.
me their story. So I have
That's
so
so
many.
great. So people have come back and told you their story.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny because without me knowing, I've had actually some people on the stream where I was like, yeah, paint with me. Come be my guest. And then they go, you gave me this wristband like 10 years ago.
Wow, I love that so much. I love how special it is, and honestly, the fact that probably super coincidentally, but it's a circle, and it's like unity and a ring and journey, and like I love that connects you with their journey. That's so cool.
Actually, a couple people in the YouTube chat, Erwin Peralta is saying, oh, he has one of these wristbands. And
Oh my
somebody else.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, his art is great. That's so cool.
Right? It's
Yeah.
so neat. Like all these
Oh my
people
gosh.
coming back and they're like, I got a wristband too. I was like, wow, you do? Oh my gosh. I didn't even
Oh,
know.
that's such a beautiful thing, man. I love when people initiate stuff like that. It just connects us, and something that like I feel like sometimes we have an idea to do something that's reaching out to others in a way, and we're like, nah, it's not that meaningful, or it's not. Maybe I won't do it. Like I'll just do something else. And then, but if you were to do it, and like when these things do end up getting done, they have an unexpected impact on people. Like you can't predict just how much you might like be the right person on the right day for that person, they might have been like on the breaking point and they're just waiting for Bobby's bracelet.
Oh man. Yeah, I mentioned before like that we did a workshop, a free workshop in Rio de Janeiro, like years and years ago before all these traveling workshops for Schoolism. And somebody wrote to me that night saying I was planning on committing suicide that night. But instead, a friend asked me to go to your workshop since it was free and to accompany her. And then she, was like, no, we're on the same path. I do not, this is the reason for the email. So yeah, I have so many of those, which it's like why these kind of things, streaming and reaching out to people becomes so much more important,
Yeah, it's really important.
Well, what about
Yeah.
you, Masay? Do you have any kind of like stories about people reminding you of something you did for them?
Maybe not. I'm not sure, or maybe I can't think of it on the spot, but I do recall going to like events like, Lightbox when we had it in person. There was actually a lot of people who were coming up to me saying like, "Oh, I listened to the streams that you were doing with Bobby, and they're talking about specific ones, which I don't really remember, but because it was like a long time ago.
Can I just
But just
reference the fact that you don't remember it? Because I remember you saying in a Discord chat we were having that you don't go back and listen.
yeah, I also don't go back to like listen to the past conversation because generally I don't like listening to my own voice, especially the ones way before, like years before, where I was less experienced in art. But I think just having those people come up to me and actually saying that in person, like, made me realize, like, oh, I guess like some of the things I say do like get to reach people
Yeah.
where like slightly unexpected. And I think, Iris, with your story, what I really like is like when you're uploading those sketches, those are like coming from a genuine place, and then for people to connect with that like genuinely, it seems like it's so much more meaningful, especially for you when you get to hear that from someone saying like
Yeah.
your whole journey was what inspired me to work
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah, even
So-
like actually it reminds me. Oh, sorry. Do you have something else?
Oh no, I was just saying like I really love that story.
It reminds me of how sometimes like I meet artists who are ashamed to put up their. Okay, as I'm starting to say this, I recognize that it's like a double-edged thing where people have like I'm gonna be polished and professional online and get the work, but other people go another route, which is the route I prefer. But I'm not saying either one is better. But anyway, the one that I like is where people see your growth and they see your mistakes, and it's treated as a journey and a road, and like then they can identify. So on top of loving your work and just appreciating your skill and appreciating you on a technical level, they connect. And for me, connecting is what matters more. Like in the end, I mean, are we here to make just images, or are we here to reach people and say things and feel things? So I love that when you can see somebody grow. I feel like it connects you to their journey. And I've had so many friends where like we started out and we were like, is this ever gonna be anything? Like I don't know if you guys know Jerry Seinfeld's book, but like it's called "Is This Anything?" And that's the feeling. Like you're drawing and you're like, "Is this anything at all?" And then you know other people who feel the same. And then, but later on in a few years, like you get jobs and you help each other and with just your growth, and that's so much more meaningful to me than just like, "Hey, look at my skills." Like,
Yeah, I do not like that idea of trying to kind of shelter people from other sides of you.
yes,
Because especially if they really like you, you're setting yourself up for a huge fall, I feel. Or you're just setting yourself up for just having to maintain this like perfect version of yourself, which nobody's
exactly.
perfect, right?
Exactly. And then maybe sometimes we like fool ourselves into thinking like I'm having a great time maintaining this version of me. I'm having a great time maintaining that I'm always happy or I'm always skilled or I'm always perfect. I love this. Like it's giving me ego points. But then one day you're gonna just be alone in your room and you're gonna be like, what have I been doing? Nobody knows me. I felt that way before, you know? Like you have to start showing people your real self or else it's just a like dark bottle, you know? It's sad.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about anybody in particular here, okay? But you know, it's like, oh, I did a pinup and it got this many likes. I'm just only gonna do those. I'm scared of doing robots. I don't want to post any of my robots. I never want to paint a robot and expand my knowledge. You know, like,
Won't get any likes.
yeah, that's a very common trap that we get into. Like, I've been painting a lot of people lately. Um, and I felt it. It's like, ah, I would get so many more likes if this was a fuzzy creature, right? But that's
Yeah.
not where the growth is. That's not
Mhm.
the purpose of posting stuff for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta let go of the ego thing and just do what our artistic soul wants, right?
Mhm.
This would
I mean,
probably,
I'm an idealist, so I'm stubborn, so yeah. Don't take my advice for business life or anything.
well, I'd say take her advice. It's probably a good one. She's just saying that, just like what she was saying before. But anyways, this is a really good topic too. You know, so
Yeah.
if anybody in Discord, because we are connected through LBX Discord here, if anybody would like to get into the conversation or would like to ask Iris any questions.
By the way, I love this
Actually,
community.
I have a
Hello?
question. Oh,
Okay,
or
first
actually, sorry.
question.
Yeah, first question. Sorry, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi.
Ah, I have a question, not really related to the topic, but do you guys have any advice on ergonomic settings for your tablet? I had a graphic tablet, but I think the way I use it was it one of the reasons that gave me wrist problems. And I'm looking for a stamp for it, but you guys had any other advice
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
ergonomic settings?
I have a little bit if you guys want to go in first or what do we do?
No, go for it. Go for it, Iris.
Okay, I think ergonomics are really important and also taking breaks because your body is someone has echo. Sorry. Your body is everything in the end, not only in terms of art, creating art, like just keep it good for that, but your whole life, like your body is your whole life. So um, there's a lot of things you can do. For the graphics tablet, first I want to preface it by saying that I used a graphics tablet, a UG and a Yanova, for like 6 years, but now I've switched right back to my 7-year-old Intuos 4 Pro because I
Wow.
realized that I traded in the line comfort and the seeing what you do directly for the 90-degree arm position. That is really, really important for your back and your tension and everything. I also do yoga every day. I consider that part of ergonomics because your body is something you have to use it or lose it, right? So focus on decreasing tension, even sometimes while we're sitting and doing art. Even the best position we're in, our shoulders are tense and we're not aware. So let go of that stuff and learn about it. Just become more aware. That sounded like a dick thing to say, learn about it. But you know what I mean. It's important. And so your 90-degree position, or use a monitor arm to get the monitor in the best position possible for you that feels comfortable, that feels like it's releasing tension. You don't want to be in any kind of like hunch or just anything at all where you have pain or you're losing circulation, nothing like that. And I think that stands for a tablet where they're just like a couple of degrees off the table, but you still have to look down physically, is not ideal for your body for the long run. So lots of things to consider, but if you will use a graphics monitor, please use a monitor arm. It might seem like a bit of an investment at first. Like a lot of people, when I recommended it, I used to have like a review video and stuff. I took it down, but people would ask me like, "Hey, which monitor arm should I get?" And I'm kind of scared because it's like $100, and I was like, "It's the best $100 you're gonna spend if you're getting a graphics monitor, right? So invest in yourself." That's my 2 cents. Good luck.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that's more than 2 cents.
That was really long. Super long.
No, that was great. I think we could go on to the next question.
Oh,
right?
sure. Okay.
Anybody else have a question?
I think Miss Eight.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a question, which I've been refraining from asking Iris ever since we've been hanging out on Discord. So I was just curious, like, so when I discovered your work, I really love like the way you choose your colors and stuff. Like, especially like even our study, like how you just went straight to the vibrant, like bright colors and the saturated blues. So and you worked on the game Ori.
The second one, and I didn't paint things. I did set dressing. I don't want people to think I painted things. Anyway, go.
Oh, you just okay. I guess
color script, but yeah, go.
oh yeah, even the color scripting. So I was kind of wondering, were people like, because your personal work is very similar to Ori stuff, is that kind of the reason why you feel like you got that job, or
Okay.
is it like something you applied for?
Yeah.
I'm curious about.
Okay. I think it is related because actually I tried to get the job a year earlier and I didn't get it because the people in the studio, the artists that were there at the time, when they received my email saying like, "Hey, I really love what you guys are doing. I would love to be part of your project and contribute," all this stuff that I genuinely felt. And then I didn't get an answer and I was like kind of bummed, but it was really when I learned what happened once I was in the studio, it was that my portfolio came up among the many choices, and they some of the artists thought, it's all right, she's learning, but she's not quite ready yet, or she doesn't have the correct sensibilities. And that's what you'll find, like people. What I learned by when I was in that studio, which is what's it called when something doesn't have a location, like a.
Oh, remote?
Yeah, it's a remote studio, and yeah. So I was in there, and I noticed like people's portfolios would pop up in our chats, like our group chats. And if in 1 second someone looking at your portfolio doesn't see your connection to their project and where you would fit in, it's over. Like they're not going to be trying to convince themselves that you're right for it. You have to convince them. Like I'm not saying what I mean by that is don't have this like stressful association to like I need to impress people, but it's more of like a be who you really are and show up fully and understand the way you show up to other people. And then once the right art director or whoever it is clicks your stuff and they see that you fit, the moment is there, like it's a connection. But if that moment doesn't if it crosses, it's not there. So that's what I would say to that.
Cool, yeah. Thank you.
So it's all about like how you put yourself out, right? Because the sensibilities and the projects hopefully go together, and then it's a matter of like each artist has to manage how they show up. Because if you show up the way that you don't actually want to show up, you get yourself into trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Another great answer.
Oh, thanks,
any other questions?
Yes, I'd like to add. I like to add to what Miss A asked. Did you purposely cater your work to look like Ori after the first rejection?
Okay. No, actually not at all. I wasn't aware of a rejection. It was more of like ghosting, I guess, which is fine. That's okay. Some people ghost; they're not comfortable. The thing is, I don't cater to. I cater to myself, and I cater to my inspirations, and that's kind of something that it's tricky, right? Because a lot of people will be having trouble and will not be having work, and they'll ask, should I cater or should I not cater? The thing is, like, what you should cater to and use comparison and stuff in regards to is like just the level that you're at. The once you decide, like, I'm going to be a professional artist, there's a certain level expected of you, and then it's your responsibility to refine yourself and your skills to a certain level. But any type of influence catering or in disingenuous catering, you know what I mean? Like where you become something for specifically someone else that you're not even interested in being. To me, that's like a total alien topic, and I would want to just live another life if that was it. So I didn't cater myself to them. Yeah, it was more of a personal growth, and my art became on its own a certain way. And also I was inspired by the first game and just hundreds of other artists. So it just became, it's like kismet. I don't know if that word is perfect for that, but yeah.
Here's a clear example if you're wondering if you're catering to somebody or the industry. You go, oh wow, superheroes are really popular now. I've never drawn a superhero in my life, but now I'm going to draw superheroes all the time, and that's going to fill up my portfolio. I don't really care about superheroes, but
yeah, if you
I
don't
want to
care,
draw.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've known a person that got really good for that person to draw spaceships. But that is the last person I would think that would be interested in spaceships at all.
Okay.
And there was something missing. There's like this soul part of the art that was missing, right? Like some piece of art, you look at it and you're like, that looked like a really fun time or a really intense time or something. Like you feel the soul of the artist there, right?
The flow.
Now, what about this though? There's so many times where I've been on a project, they would give you the initial inspirational package, and then you see a bunch of art from your friends in there. And you're like, but they're not on this project. How come they're not on this project?
Oh my gosh, that's happened. Yeah.
How do you kind of feel about that? Because you're working on this project. You got a job right now.
Yeah.
But then you see Massey's art on there. It's like part of the inspiration in the package.
Yeah. It's odd, right? Like it can be it can like instantly you feel it talking to your ego a little, and it's like, hey, you're just like these other people, or something like that, whatever. But I try to leave that out of the equation, and basically art, the industry is not personal, it's business. Like I don't know what that expression is, like whatever, but it's not about you, it's just a business thing, and people having skills and people having a certain skill set, it's the same thing as like just you need something done, who can do it objectively, it's not anything about like, hey, we're trying to like create some weird dynamic between you and your friends and now you're going to think about this at night, and like it's not that. It's like but I've seen for example, I was in a relationship with an artist who was one of my idols, Alexandre Diboine, and Zedig, for other people who don't know that name, and his art would show up in mood boards, and I was psyched about it. I was like, this is so cool. We get to like be associated, and it's an honor actually. So all types of things can become it depends on how you look at it. Have a healthy outlook, right? Like it's good to be competitive and to know where you stand compared to other people and like be inspired by that difference, but don't get all like, oh, I'm too much like this. Like if anything, be inspired in a good way. Like if you see people who are similar to you and they're not the ones getting the job and you are, and there's some weird thing, be like inquisitive, be like, do I do the type of work that I want to do, or am I trying to be these people? Maybe have it be self-reflective opportunity. Yeah, I don't know if that answered anything. I'm sorry.
No, totally. I feel bad. When I see that, I feel bad. Like, are they also working on this? No, they're not. Oh. Like,
Yeah.
I want to
How do you
tell
handle
them, but then I'm like, should I tell that person? Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And then
How do they feel?
I don't know, but I've been on the other side of things. And when I'm on the other side of things, it's like, hey, so and so, we're working on, Bobby, we're working on this new project that I want to be on. And they're like, hey, and they put this painting in there of yours and this painting. Wow, they really like your stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's
Sitting
good.
here.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh,
And
you mean like the missed opportunity aspect of it? Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
well, why didn't they just call me? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But
Oh.
that happens a lot. It happens
Mm.
pretty much all the time because also at the beginning of the project, you're not looking to hire 20 people, you're looking to hire one person. So you're going to put together this package full of 20 people in there, right? And
Yeah.
give it to that
Mm.
one person and see what they can do, or that few people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say, do you have something to say on that?
I'm just also wondering, like, I wonder if there's also another perspective where it's like maybe that person was just too busy and they did contact them, but
Yeah.
then they couldn't go on the project.
Well, what
But I guess it's
about
a bit
let me
when you
dig a
like
little
when you
bit.
ask.
Can we dig a little bit? I just want to
Yeah.
I wonder because there was an article. I don't know how they could have calculated this, but they said that Christmas Chronicles was the most successful Christmas movie ever made. I guess because of the
Mm-hmm.
boost of Netflix subscriptions or something, because how do you tell that it's streamed? But that's what they said.
Yeah.
And they said it's bigger than, made more money than Home Alone did for the studios or whatever. And yet they did not call you back for that sequel.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I'm sure they
Okay.
used all your art. They plastered it everywhere and they said, all right, everybody, paint like Massey. Let's do some more.
I see where
Oh.
you're going.
How
I
do
see where
you
you're
Yeah.
feel
going.
about that? Because obviously
It's
you did a good job.
Okay. If I have to be honest, like if for people that don't know, Bobby and I had the opportunity to work on the character designs for Christmas Chronicles, the first movie, along
Yeah.
as well as Peter Deseth. And I guess to hear about the second movie coming out like very soon and just not really hearing much about it, it's like, oh, what about the character design? I'm assuming they're gonna add more of these elf characters that we designed. So I guess there is a bit like of a hurt feeling, but knowing that the director changed, I kind of had like let that go a bit easier. But there is definitely like an ego thing that goes on inside where you kind of feel like it's like, oh, I wish I could have worked on that because you're the one who kind of built these characters um, from scratch.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing.
Mhm.
I kind of tend to feel like these things happen where it's hurtful, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm an idealist and like romantic and everything, so I kind of tend to think like it'll come back around, or the people who were inspired by your work and part of the project will somehow seek your help again later if it's right. So I don't want to be too like in the moment and stressed out. Like I didn't get this thing right now. Maybe like something else will come up. I don't know. It's idealist and it might not always be true, right? But I kind of act as if that's true. So,
Well,
but it
let me
must be
ask
very
Massey, like on a scale of 1 to 10 though, like 10 you are livid and you will never talk to this person again and you will troll them forever. And then 1 is like, meh, whatever. Where were you at?
I think it was like a two or three.
Yeah, that's healthy.
It's like,
That
yeah,
seems
it's like,
natural and healthy.
yeah,
Massey and me are birthday buddies, and we're quite similar
yeah,
in mentality. So, yeah.
we do connect. Yeah, we found out we both share the same birthday. Even like we're 1 year apart, but we're the same birthday buddies, and
You-
we've connected over many things, and we found out we're very similar in how we think sometimes.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
And I
that's
guess
funny.
that's another
in
one.
regards, in regards to the rating you just gave, were you that in the moment? Like, did it change over time, or?
I think it stayed that way, but I actually haven't watched the second movie. Maybe that's me being a bit bitter, but I think it would like a tiny bit if I do watch the second movie. But I'm sure it'll drop again because like in the end, like it doesn't really matter.
Okay, since you're confessing, Miss A, since you're confessing, I did also, when that movie came on, I turned it on, I went straight, I scanned for elves, I stopped, I watched it, and I was like, huh, the lighting, the texture, I don't know, something's different. It doesn't, to me, and I'm completely biased, completely, it lacked the soul. Yes, it lacked the soul. And so I was like, good. That was my natural.
Bobby, you have dark sides.
And I'm just saying, I'm trying to be totally honest out there, right? On a scale of 1 to 10 bitterness, I was maybe a 1.5, a 1, but just to be totally transparent and let everybody know, hey, those feelings that you feel, those are natural, probably, or they're natural with me. I felt it, I was like, good, that movie doesn't look as good. And then the next thing I did, I scrolled right to the end, to the credits, and I watched. I just watched. I watched if there was another character designer that was credited. And there wasn't. So then I was like, good. Again, I was like, good. And then I turned it off.
Mention something? Oh my god, I'm going to mention something that happens in studios, and I'm going to just say it's BS. Something that happens that I'm going to mention, that sometimes an artist, some people I know, have worked on a project for more than a year of their life. They've contributed more than a year of their life to a game or a project, and they get credited as additional artists because they left to do something else that was important in their life at that time. Like they got offered something else, or something meaningful happened, or whatever, they had to go. And then it's like, oh, suddenly, I don't know how I feel about giving you a big credit. Here, take this little, like...
Yeah.
People have contributed like their... You know what I mean?
Like, you feel like there was some emotion behind that as well.
Definitely. I know it's come out of spite because I've seen like the type of situation that brings it about, and then you see how people talk about that happened, and the person is just hurt, and they see the credit, they see their fellow colleagues who they worked alongside for it. I'm not talking about me, like this hasn't happened to me, but I've seen it happen to friends, and I just been like, they just spat on you, and it's so hurtful. Why can't we all just be big and be equals and respect that someone put their time,
Yeah.
It really gets me going. Grinds my gears. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Disappointing, Sorry.
It is very political. And same thing with awards. Awards are completely political too. There's that Asian film that was like the Korean film that won Best Golden Globe, whatever foreign film. And everybody's like, that film is actually so good, it should be for Best Picture. But then it was shoved into foreign films because I'm not saying that this is the reason, okay? But if people were to look at the piece of the puzzle and they see a Korean film win last year, how will they feel about a Korean film winning this year? I'm not saying that had to do with it, but, behind closed doors, you don't know.
Yeah, it might have. There's silly things like of how something will be perceived or pride or whatever, and you're just like, can we just put that crap aside and just like be respectful and acknowledge things,
It's so political. Why else would people have to go on like an awards tour for their film to try to, get that award or whatever? If it was strictly on your performance, you wouldn't need to do anything afterwards.
That's a good point. Yeah. Some weird dynamics sometimes. It's unfortunate, but I think like just to make a quick side note, like I feel like the society we live in is becoming more and more aware of like emotional dynamics and what's insulting, or what's like totally just disrespectful. Whereas back in the day, it'd be like, oh, you were disrespected? Well, shut up. That's really unprofessional for you to show that side. So
yeah.
Of course, it's tricky. There's also like we go too far. We got to pull back a bit on how sensitive we are. But some things are really valid to like recognize and say, hey, that wasn't fair.
Here's the silver lining, though. I feel, it's like before, back in the day when there wasn't social media, credits meant so much to me because that's my lifeline. That's how people can know about me,
Okay.
right? But now, how do people know about us? Through the internet, through social media. I know this isn't a new thing, but the result is new. The result is we don't need credits as much, actually, because we still post. I never got a credit for Men in Black 3.
Okay.
Right? I designed a couple aliens there. One was in the film, one was in a commercial, and then got cut from the script because it was a kind of a crazy project to be on. There's a lot of ups and downs.
How did that? Did you find out that you weren't gonna be, or did you find out while you were looking at the credits for the first time?
When I was looking at the credits for the first time, because I've moved on to other projects, and when the movie comes out, that was like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? But, from like, it does sting a little bit, but at the same time, like, I'm not that hurt. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 3, It's not that bad.
How analytical you get about the feeling and it's interesting.
Because how else can you tell? You know what I mean? Some people, they're like, I'm angry, and it's like they're livid inside, but they're just saying, I'm angry.
Yeah, they're trying to be very conservative about how they're telling.
Yeah.
I'm unpleased. I don't like that they did that. Yeah.
For the credits thing, I guess one way to look at it is like some people might still rely on that just for what do you call it? To be recognized, like to be like, this is what I worked on. I actually worked on something. So people might be relying on that to prove that they are good enough to be on this like show, movie, or game. But like I can understand how some people can get really touchy on that kind of subject when they don't get credited. But then I feel like another way to look at it is like maybe that isn't something that you should solely rely on, because in the end, what matters most isn't really the credit. It's about like what your work looks like. Is it good? Does it mean something? Does it speak to people?
Yeah, what does it say to people who see it?
Yes.
And do you agree with what it says? Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of interesting because I feel like I've gone to that stage where, like when I got that credit for the Netflix film, I felt like, I made it, like, I actually proved myself. But then it kind of dies away really quickly once you do get that credit. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, different stages in my art careers, I feel different ways about certain things like credit.
Yeah.
And probably I'm sure you feel kind of the same way for certain things, right?
Yeah, like credits are like still important to me, but it's a lot better now with the internet bringing us together and stuff, and like kind of not a lot of things can fall through the cracks with the internet and all of their internet police scouring for.
Oh wait. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to touch on that. The thing I do want to bring up is that I find that like, oh no, I lost it. Wait. It's something about like there's something that happens is like that as you develop as an artist, what matters to you is what you decide brings value, like what you see as giving you value or is a valuable thing. So the credit might have been like, hey, I've got this. Now like they say I have value, and now I can like relax and determine my own value. Yeah, I wanted to bring up something about that. What do you guys think? I don't know. Or we can go to the policing thing, but it's so touchy.
It's okay. I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole either.
But I respect the vent. It's
Yeah.
If you guys want to change, the gears a bit, we can go to one of the Slido questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea.
Okay. There's one person who
let's
asked,
not get anybody canceled.
what are some artists you get inspiration from for your work?
Go ahead, guys.
Iris Muddy and Masei Seki. Okay, go.
No, everybody behind Bobby. Go, Masei. I want to hear you.
Well, obviously, I feel like I say this in a lot of streams, but Bobby and Kay stuff.
Yeah, man, they're incredible artists. I don't know who they are, but they're just great.
Yeah, I don't really know them either.
Power couples.
But also, I guess just seeing, getting to know other artists and seeing like how they are as a person is also inspiring. Like, especially Iris, like once I got to know you a bit more, like just seeing a bit more of your personality and like how you are, it's also like like your art is pretty much the same thing. There's just
You're
like,
such a sweetheart. I feel the same. I feel the same. Mwah, mwah.
oh. So I guess it's like there's inspirations through just getting to know people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my answer.
That's been one of my favorite things. Just man, getting to know people, and it's a gift. Recently, like I made a tutorial for ArtStation, and then they had a thing where they asked me some questions, and one of the questions was, what was one of the most memorable experiences of your career? And I actually chose that. I was thinking that answer supposes that question supposes an answer where I give like a challenging situation that I overcame and I learned something, but it seemed inappropriate because that doesn't, to me, that's something that happens, right? We learn from something. But what I actually learned was that people matter and people are inspiring, and the people I grew on the journey with are what animates my life more so than my skill level. It used to be about my skill and how much I know, and I have to like prove my competence, and I have to, it's like a rat race. And I realized recently that no, people matter more than anything, and just take your time and do things in stride and gather inspirations. Like I have so many inspirations, I can't even say it. Like recently, Enrique Fernandez told me he liked my work, and I was like freaking out because Enrique Fernandez is just the freaking god. And God, it's just like I love. We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and they're so impressive and beautiful. And movies that we were inspired by. Like I remember something that one of my biggest inspiration was Mononoke Hime, and I have a tattoo of the Kodamas, and it was because I remember the night that it came on TV accidentally. I was like awake at night late, and I had the TV on, and I was like, I caught it like halfway, and I was like, what is this incredible movie? Like as a kid, like, oh my God, this is so beautiful and emotional, and you're freaking out, and then you're changed forever. And like inspirations are so great, and it's just so beautiful. I feel so blessed, to have, we're all like trying to do this stuff together as a human race, It's cool. Yeah. No specific answer, but yeah. Also, wait, I just want to mention that a while ago when I was in France or Denmark, I don't remember, but I saw one of Bobby's paintings and I bought it right away at a print shop and I loved it. It was one where there's like these creatures or rabbits, and then there's like a monster rabbit in the back with a painted mask. He's not a real rabbit. He's like a rabbit.
Right.
He's convincing.
The bunny eater.
I love that one. It was like signed and numbered, and I was like, mine.
Oh.
That's amazing.
It was cute. It was just like one of your prints out in the world, and I found that so beautiful. Like people can just like, we're so global now. It's just fascinating, right? Like what can happen.
Oh, that's so great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who, the person that I'm kind of looking at now, that everybody's pretty much looking at now, is Beeple Crap.
Are you going to talk about BFT?
I don't want to. NFTs or whatever.
NFT, sorry.
Everybody can look at it themselves or whatever, but yeah. That's another giant rabbit hole that deserves its own stream, probably.
I just want to say that I find it so hilarious that Kay was talking to us about that, because I see Kay, the way I see Kay, or anybody who is like just somebody whatever. So I picture people like a certain way, right? Their ideal self or whatever. So Kay to me is like this beautiful goddess statue who has like this beautiful stone material with like moss. This is Kay to me, the way I picture Kay. And she's this like beautiful, serene statue of perfection and serenity, and she's talking about like money when she talks about like this crypto stuff, and I found it so funny. Like make that money.
Yeah, and actually, to confirm your suspicions, she does not care about any of that stuff at
No,
all.
me neither. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just more interested in the evolution of art, I think, and the
Yeah. Yeah.
clubhouse thing. Because, like, there's been times where I'll be like, oh, we did this well or whatever. And she'll be like, is that good for you? And I'm like, that's good. And she's like, okay, good. And that's it. That's her. I love her for that. That
Yeah.
nothing, no
Okay.
monetary amount of value will ever impress her.
Good.
You know?
That's how it should be. We
Yeah.
should all just be striving for like sustenance, right? I mean, a sustenance and a little more within reason. But yeah,
It's
like
like always striving for more and being very satisfied with what you got. That is
yes.
such a winning combination.
And thankful. I try to like say thank you every night to just the world. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. People might have noticed I put a little something on the screen earlier. It is
Yeah.
our all the other people that did the 90-minute workout. Okay, I only have one monitor today, so it's a little clunky. I hope people don't mind, but I do want to share this stuff here.
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right, so 90-minute workout, if you or 90-minute art challenge, if you want to participate, you can also upload your stuff to Instagram, hashtag it 90-minute art challenge, and then everybody can see them. Okay, so we're going to just show a few of the ones that I want to highlight here. Look, somebody already did this
I
one.
love that picture. I have that picture in my Pinterest under like amazing light and color and
Look whose this is. Wow, so good. Amazing. This is Iris Muddy, everybody. So you can follow Iris Muddy right here. I'm just gonna embarrass you just a little bit longer. I hope you don't mind, and then I'll leave you alone. Okay? Just want to cruise through some of her
oh, wow.
just gorgeous stuff. Processes, close-ups, everything. A great
Thanks.
resource for any artist out there.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, I see. I don't want to get you too wiggly, so I'm going to move on to somebody else here. Here's some other beautiful ones.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you
cool.
so much. You're really sweet. I really appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you guys. It's always just when it's like we're all artists climbing our own mountain and going on our own path, and it's beautiful. And like when you can look at someone else and just give them like yeah, we're doing all right. Like it's
Yeah.
really nice. It's really nice. It's just like a good boost.
Mm.
That's something that I wish like artists will think about as they start developing as well. It's something that I really put a lot of value on, which is, hey, when people start to develop as artists, just because you started before them doesn't mean that they can't become your equals.
Oh heck yeah! Oh
You
my
know what I
god!
mean? Because
And
sometimes you
and
meet
love it.
elders or something and they have this kind of vibe, right? And it's like, okay, you think you're hot stuff. I don't know. I don't really like that too much.
No, no. What I love is like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite things is like when you get a question from someone and they're not so sure and they're still insecure and you try to help them, and then later they show you their work and they're living their best life. You're like, they've like understood things clicked, and you helped plant a seed, anything at all, and they just like you can feel the confidence that they now can attain, and I love that. I love like seeing people just like finally feel right. It's like, and they built it themselves, and oh, it's just so great. I get excited.
Totally. And going back to your point in the very beginning, you're saying that you prefer the whole entire idea of this is my journey, right? And you
Yes.
follow me along my journey.
Yeah.
And like I followed you along your journey. I've seen your journey. I've seen Jason Chan's journey. I've seen, Koro start to paint nothing but trees and beautiful portraits all of
Yes,
a sudden.
beautiful grass
I
with
actually
amazing
have
attention.
one right here,
Yes, Koro.
right?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's awesome to bring
Yeah,
people up to that bar, right?
yeah.
Instead of trying to keep people underneath you.
No, yeah. It's fear versus love, right? So
Yes, yes. Just wanted to kind of spotlight that a little bit as people start to get better and stuff.
I want to highlight one person who brings everybody up ever. I've never seen this person be anything but a hero. Kofi Ofusu. You're here?
Yeah, of course.
He's probably here
Can we
too.
get a coffee? Can we get a oh my god? I don't know if he's there. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I love Kofi so much. He's such a huge inspiration, and he's always lifting people up. And oh my god, just people in the community who are like, I was telling a friend just last night that we're lighthouses for each other in the dark, stormy sea, right? And that's how I see it. I forgot where I heard that. It's not my idea, but lighthouses.
I also I always hear this quote from this one podcast, and their thing is like, we rise to lift others.
Yes.
I love that quote. It's like, yeah, we don't rise to just like look down on people. It's like we want to like bring people up together with us, and yeah, that is a good way of just like looking at everything.
Sometimes I can get into like a really cynical, dark vibe, and maybe it doesn't look like it, but yeah, I'm telling you it's true. And I get like kind of nihilistic and just like meaninglessness of things, whatever. And then I remember finding this this video. I don't remember where it was, sorry, but a beautiful point it had is that like if you think about human nature and human purpose, we're all just contributing to the collective knowledge and base of just the complexity and the beauty of what humans can be and do and create. And when you help others, it's like it just reinforces this huge net, right? And like, for example, Bobby, like you've touched so many people's lives with the knowledge that you make available, and it started out as something that like helps you and helps others, and this is just how these things develop, and it creates an impact and it like spreads. And I love that concept of like, is it 6 degrees of separation? Like we're all like maybe maximum 6 people apart from each other or influencing each other. It's just so great. Yeah, someone wrote in the chat, a rising tide raises all ships, and that's such a love versus fear thing, like rising tide, or like, oh, I fear that the tide will raise others and not me, Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have mentioned this to you before, Masay, where it's like I don't feel like I'll be successful until Masay's better than me. That's how I feel. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Right? Because like if I'm always better than her, then what kind of crappy studio am I running? It's like it'll never evolve unless I'm evolving. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you really wanted me to stay down there, you would not tell me how to paint. You would just like be like on your own. But yeah, just you like willingly to teaching me how to like approach things and like do everything is just, yeah, it's definitely helped a lot.
Yeah. I just want to mention that Masay, I really love that like you guys did Bobby in the video soon you deviate a bit more from the frog, but Masay was deviating like the whole time, and she made her own creature, and I found that so cool because when I was doing this study, I don't know, like I knew that I'd be talking to you guys while I was doing it, and that it would be like shown to the world, right? And I was like, I'm not gonna try anything funny here. I'm just gonna I really enjoy like exercising skills of just observation and measuring, and not super precise, but like proportion of this compared to that, where do these things line up? So I was like, I'm gonna retreat to that comfort zone. And then Masay was just like, I'm gonna make my own creature, and it's so cool. And then like Bobby, I think you started seeing her, and then you got inspired too, and you were like, I'm gonna do this other thing. And it's just so cool like that you guys were a little more creative than me, and I kind of was like, I'm just gonna measure the leaf and the value and like value and color,
Well, I painted a bunch more like before this in other sessions, of course, with other people, and I didn't do too well. I went slow. So that's why this one, I was like, hell or high water, I'm aiming for like an hour.
Okay.
Right? Or like 70 minutes. And then when I got to 70 minutes, then I have all this time to do extra stuff. So if you're willing to do a part 2 sometime, then we could do, you could think about that and like aim
Oh
to do
yeah.
something creative.
Heck yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun.
And for me, to be fair, I did have experience painting this kind of lighting with this kind of animal for a movie project that I wrapped up in the summertime. So I had a bit more experience. So I did get a bit more of an advantage when
Don't
it came
worry
to.
about it, Miss A. You can just acknowledge that.
I mean, I'll take all the compliments.
Oh my god. Well, wait, 1 second. Actually, how do you guys take compliments? Do you find like you have a comfortable way of doing it, or?
How about you, Bobby?
I try to really listen and really try to understand where this compliment is coming from, and I just try to say thank you. I don't try to get too into it.
Yeah.
And I try to talk more about them and like ask them about them generally. Hopefully, if you met me, hopefully that's what I did.
Yeah. Good.
I'm learning how to take compliments.
Yeah, because like here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like if they're complimenting you, you want to make them feel good,
See.
right? And it's like if you complimented somebody and then they say, "Oh,
Oh,
yeah, thanks, but it's nothing. It's like this other person," or "Oh, yeah, but it was nothing." It's like it just feels like whatever, right? But if you go, you really try to listen to the person and you really try to think about the impact it had, and you go, "Thank you so much. That's really kind of you."
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do, right? And direct it to them. It's far more nice and interesting, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more authentic. There's a connection there. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm experiencing now is like I'm experiencing not necessarily the fear of telling the same story, the same, over and over again, but I'm sensing, I feel like I want to be aware of not repeating the same stories now.
That must be really hard for you because you have to do so much. Like, just people have to hear you so much because you put yourself out there.
And I thought about this on Saturday. So, Masay, you're smiling because you've heard a bunch of my stories over and over again. You see, that's why. That's why, everybody. But it's all good. It's all good.
The whole time it's consistent, though, which is good.
That's how you know they're true.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's funny because it reminds me that like I have some other aspirations and nobody make fun of me or judge me, but like I dream of in another life, or maybe I don't know, I'll try doing it as a hobby. But like I love stand-up comedy and I love just comedy in general, like making people feel good, make laughter out of everything in life, right? Just to not take each other so seriously. And when I think of stand-up comics and what they actually have to do, like, okay, what we see is like the special, right? And like, okay, I can sit down and laugh and feel so good and like just smile and feel blessed by this person's amazing idea and cleverness and whatever, like one time. But they're out there doing that night after night, saying the same stuff, practicing it like it's like they're painting like the same painting several times. And it's like, oh my God, that must take something out of the person, like they have to show up authentically every time or else it won't hit. It's like it becomes just its own art form. It's interesting to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
But isn't there a saying that says like you never swim on the same lake twice?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like there's certain things like a good idea. Can I tell you the same good idea 4 times and you still think it's a good idea? Right? I think that's what we're getting at. Humor is kind of the same thing. Right? You hear that old joke that used to kill in the 50s. Are you busting your gut laughing now?
Busting your gut. I was thinking about this actually in relation to people and friends and like relationships. I feel like nowadays we have this things have shifted to where we're like insatiable. We want like new information, new things all the time, and people become uninteresting. And we're like, okay, I know this friend. I need a new friend now, and like people more interesting or whatever. But when you know something and you love something and you can appreciate just the way that it is, and the fact that it shows up every day, you appreciate your friends just for the fact that they woke up today and they can like speak to you today, and you can get their essence again, and it's such a wonderful thing. So it's like, you know, that kind of mentality would help you help us become interested in even the repetition of things. And we don't owe it to anybody to be so much more interesting today than yesterday. Like, it's come on. Too much pressure.
You can tell, like, there's definitely, when I think about The Voice or like those singing competitions, and they're like, this isn't your song, but you're not singing it with enough feeling, you know? And it's like, yeah, there is something there where it's like that skill of trying to say it again for the first time.
Yeah.
There's a
Again,
skill there. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And then it makes me fascinated to wonder, like, sometimes because I'm aware of like that a performer is doing something again, you wonder like you wonder about that skill that they've developed. Like, what are they thinking, or how have they worked into really showing up authentically this time, you know, like, because they've done it before. So it's really interesting to wonder like about that skill that you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just thinking, I'm trying to like, if you can relate to like art, it's like, how do sometimes people show up, you know, genuine and good every single time? It's like they must have really trained themselves to like get to that point. Sorry, I'm just trying to like, I was like thinking like, oh, it's kind of like the same as art. It's like sometimes we can't always show up, but then people who are good, really good right now, like they've kind of trained that skill to pretty much like show up every day.
Yeah.
And
especially if you've worked in the industry a whole bunch. Oh, sorry. You're what'd you just say?
Oh, I was just about to end saying I want that. I want to be able to show up every day.
I thought you do. I guess not. I'm just kidding.
Literally, you show up at the studio. Or not. Is that a cyborg replacement, Masay?
Yeah, this is the screen.
But yeah, like you know, this pertains to every artist at some level or another, where you have to talk with people, you have to start that new project with the same amount of enthusiasm as hopefully your first project ever, which is tough. But, you know, especially if you worked on a bunch of stuff that you thought was going to be good and it got canceled or it got turned into something watered down and it wasn't, you know, what you initially thought, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that, and again, that's like a skill in itself. You come into a meeting, the first kickoff meeting, and you're like, all right, I'm so excited to be here. This project.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think, Bobby? Well, you know, this project really seems special. It really, really does. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But
I had a question.
Go for it. Yeah, please.
Well, first, I wanted just to take the time to say thank you so much because, I was the first painting you highlighted from Instagram today, the archway.
Oh, nice. Yeah, great job.
Well, I just want to thank you because you've highlighted my images several times on the Instagram thing, but I'm rarely here live, so I never really had the time to really thank you for it. But I haven't really been like digital painting regularly until like a few months ago when I discovered your stream, and it's like it helped me immensely keep a regular regimen of working out my digital art, especially painting. So you guys have been a big help with that.
Well, you're killing it.
Exactly
that one's a tough one.
Yeah, it was really hard. I just had to thank you guys because you were talking about like the people you helped earlier, and I just really wanted to let you know that you really, really helped me out, especially during these times. It's giving me something like to focus my artistic skills on.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
That's so good to hear.
I just want to take a second based on that to mention like just Lightbox and Imaginism and Schoolism in general, because I remember when I just was like reaching for all the knowledge that I could get. I watched like Nathan's course and I signed up and I was like doing Dyson Roberts like lighting thing, and just all these people who have so much knowledge and amazing gifts to give to the world. They make like authentic artwork and they're there to like help you too. So it's just incredible. What a beautiful gift, and like it affects everybody. And then also when I just remember hearing through the grapevine that you were gonna do Lightbox, like this was a while ago, and it was just like the right person doing the right thing who knows what we want, you know. Like that's exactly how I felt, and it was so strong. I was like, someone who knows exactly how to make this perfect is gonna make it perfect. Yes, like what else, what can be better than that? I was just like so excited. And then I went and it was exactly how I thought it was going to be. It was one of the best things of my life, and I think anybody who was there can say that. And we're looking forward to every single Lightbox related thing ever, you know, because we're all just like, you know, we really need it right now. And based on what our friend here was saying, like heck yeah, just yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, that's very encouraging, especially coming from you, Iris. So thank you.
Yeah, bless.
That's so awesome that you got to go to the first one too. That one,
It was
you could
just,
tell it's going to be special. You know,
you know
that
what
one.
too? It wasn't like I had to fight for it because I didn't necessarily have that time off from work, and I said like I'm going or else, and I was gonna quit on Ori,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And I said like this, I know when something is life changing and something is impactful, right? Like you can feel it. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all. That was a really, it kind of felt like the art version of my wedding. You know, just nothing
Oh
but
my
love.
gosh.
Just nothing but love everywhere.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like all of
Yeah.
my oldest friends have come out of the woodwork to meet up with us again. You know, people flying in from Hawaii, from Singapore, from everywhere around the world, making the pilgrimage for.
Yes, pilgrimage. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's oh wow.
It was so cool. You know, one of the coolest things was seeing Sparth and Craig Mullins meet each other in person for the first time.
Yes.
Where like Sparth, he was doing a demo, or somebody was doing a demo. It's either, yeah, I think it was Sparth doing a demo, and he starts to talk about Craig Mullins, and then Craig Mullins is walking by at the exact same time, and then says, "Hey," or something like that, you know, and then they like exchange a little thing, and
Oh,
coolest thing ever.
it's just so great.
That's so cool.
We're so blessed.
And the conversations after the event, you know, just staying up with everybody after the event. Which hotel did you stay at? Do you remember?
I stayed at an Airbnb with my friends Angie and Paulina, and they're so nice, and they got me into the after party because I wasn't
Oh.
actually like an event thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was just so excited to just be there. It was so positive, and you can feel the positivity. And also like when people were outside waiting for things, they were like talking and making connections, and that's the thing, like when I say that people matter, and I'm gonna cry, so I'll stop.
Oh, I can't wait to do it again. That was so much fun.
2022.
Yeah. This year we're gonna do an online version in September, and then next year, oh man, save up your pennies, your euros, your Dogecoin, your Bitcoins. 2022. What's that?
I got my first. Oh no, I don't want to get hacked. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but it is happening big time. 2022 October. Think about it now, because it will be worth it.
I'm making an X.
Yeah, all that.
Oh, hey, we can start like a hand thing or like a box. I don't know. My fingers are weird.
Like a light box.
Yeah, I don't know how to make an H. I don't know, but
Light box.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Hey, yeah, now that we're coming close to, you know, the end of our paintings here, Love
Yeah.
to maybe answer a couple more questions, either from Slido, maybe a Slido question, a Discord question, something like that.
I'm feeling so good. Thank you guys so much for this. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Did anyone on Discord have a question?
I have a
Really quick, when usually is Lightbox?
Usually.
Or
Oh.
like where?
It's usually in Pasadena, California, and LA. And the very first one was in September, but you don't need to remember that anymore. Going forward, it's going to be in October 2022. We'll give the exact date at a later time.
Good to know.
Nice, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hey, wait, can I ask something actually to Bobby about Lightbox?
Sure.
How did you first get the idea, or like, do you remember the moment where like it became, yeah, I'm gonna do that?
The first inklings of the idea was getting yelled at by some volunteers at another convention. It was.
Oh, you're like, I'm gonna do this better.
I was like, and this was my favorite freaking show, like this person yelling at me, literally yelling at me because I have an exhibitor badge instead of a speaker badge, and I was asking for coffee in the speaker's lounge.
Stressful.
But I was a speaker, and it's their fault that they gave me the wrong badge. So that just added to it, and then after that, it starts stewing in my head. And then I kind of forgot about it a little bit. And then this other artist, Tiffany Mang, she was doing these paintings for the same freaking show. And these were oil paintings, and the show ruined the oil paintings, scratched them and things like that, right?
Man.
And all sorts of other chaos. And then they said, we're not paying for these. We didn't do it. And I was like, no, that's not cool to pick on somebody like that.
Yeah, I try to give the benefit of the doubt, but that's just unfortunate that went that way.
Yeah.
But it's a really, I'm sorry, Bobby, for you, but I'm glad that happened. So
I'm glad it happened too.
We all won in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, totally. It was so much fun too, because it was like I brought back everybody from my past as well, like
Tribe.
everybody. It was so much fun. My goodness.
Is one of those events that everyone was waiting for someone to, run and host. And
Exactly.
that was Bobby.
And then the right person stepped in and took the responsibility.
Hey,
Yeah.
and huge prefaces to huge footnote, and not even a footnote. Let me just correct this a little bit. It was me and Jim Demonakos, right? Jim Demonakos is my partner for Lightbox Expo, and without him, it never would have been. So, yeah.
How did you meet?
Pardon?
How did you guys meet?
We met at another convention. We met at this, it was called Calgary Expo, back in the day. And back in the day, the very first Calgary Expo, they would drive us out to Banff, and we'd hang out, the bunch of guests and stuff. And so I got to hang out with him. I think he cooks a mean burger, and I was like, this guy's a good person now.
Good fella. That's awesome. How pure. That's great.
How did you get connected with the conceptart.org people?
Oh, actually, okay. I was telling someone this today. You mean Massive Black?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Even before Massive Black, it seemed like you were already kind of like.
I don't know. The thing is, I try to tell people that I don't know how to put it into words exactly. You've noticed I'm long-winded and weird, but when you allow yourself to arrive and to show up a certain way, and you don't hold yourself back, and you don't let the life hold you back. I feel like Bobby and Masay, you guys resonate with this probably, with the way that I see you guys show up and build yourselves up, and you just decide I'm gonna arrive, and I'm gonna be authentic, and I'm gonna make connections, and you just talk to people. You really talk to them, and you don't do it out of some networking thing. You just talk to people. People we want to connect, and then we want to help each other and we want to be interested in each other. So I just decided, like, sometimes I hear people say like, hey, I'm kind of shy or I'm nervous or I'm whatever, and it's like, you deserve the right to be like, you have to comfortably connect with people. You can't show up in front of them and say like, help me right now. It's not that. It's like, if you're a nice, genuine person and you mean well and you're like in the right place, you can kind of see each other as equals or as like one person a little further. But myself, I'm like on my way there. And so I just showed up a certain way, and I think people felt it, and I started making friends, and I was just so thankful, like, and learning. And when you try your best and you just keep going, you get there, and just be authentic, you know. And people started connecting to that, and I was so thankful, like, hey, I decided, like, I'm allowed to talk to this person, and I'm allowed to try to connect with them, even if they're someone I consider incredibly inspiring. It doesn't mean we're separate, and they're elite and I'm not. And I remember a friend telling me that in a stream he remembered watching from me. Sorry if this is getting too... Is it getting too long, or are we like supposed to be done?
No, it's great. It's great.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. Because I want to say, yeah, so I remember a friend told me, Devin Corwin, actually, who's an amazing artist. I don't know if someone can tag Devin Corwin, but he has like content. But anyway, he said that he remembered watching me in a stream, and I said, don't worry about where I am now. Like, I'm getting there. And I was like, how did you remember me saying that? Because it's such a, like, it's who I am, basically. Like, don't worry about what I'm doing right now. Like, I have envision, like, you know, just being who like, you have an ideal self and you just approach it, and you allow yourself to arrive. And so I spoke to Thomas Scholz because he was one of my biggest inspirations, because his art is just incredible. You can feel that he's like a real creative, and he's interested in just like authentic, interesting things. And I spoke to him, and we talked about like Zen and all kinds of things. And then it ended up that he just like slipped my name in, and you know, it's such a beautiful like give and take, and that's how it goes. When people ask me how to get in, I'm like, I don't know, just be good, be a good person, and show your passion. Yeah.
I love this, and it actually makes me want to end off this stream with one last question, which is, what's something that kind of, oh my God, I just drew a blank. But what I was thinking was like, oh my gosh, so many people have crossed my path in my life, right? Because I also search out artists. Yeah. And so many people, so there are many footprints on my path, but some have a deeper imprint than others. And this stream, Iris, it has a deep impact on me. So thank you so much.
God, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. I was like, I was telling my new Discord friends that like, if the stream gets too weird and professional and like tense and like stiff, please bring up love and connection and friendship and growth. And nobody had to. We just went there, and it's great. Thank you.
Well, right back at you. And you know, and this has been wonderful. So let's just end it there. And peace be with everybody. Hope everybody has an amazing day. And thank you so much to everybody in Discord, all the mods in Discord that make our LBX Discord so friendly and amazing. And my wonderful assistant, Jamie, in YouTube. Thank you so much. Masay, my co-host. And the biggest thank you goes to our honored guest, Iris Muddy. Go follow her, everybody. Thank you, Iris.
Thank you, Iris.
Thank you so much. Wow. I feel so good. I was nervous, and I was like, am I going to show up correctly, and I'm going to talk too much? It was so fun. I thank you guys so much. Love you.
Wonderful.